Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. I just got this new stencil from Altenew. It's called Heart Builder Stencil, and I thought it'd be fun to kind of show you my process as I'm making a Valentine's card. And it kind of gives me a chance to experiment with this stencil and show you how it works. I actually did a little bit of sampling beforehand, and this is what the background looks like when you do the stencil with some ink blending. And what it is basically is a stencil that you go over once with ink, or you use the ink blending, and then you kind of move the stencil over, or no, actually you flip it over, and then you use a darker color, and you get kind of this 3D look with the hearts. And I love this modern look. I thought this would look really good with just any type of Valentine sentiment. So I thought I would make one of these cards for you today and kind of show you how the stencil works. This is the other side of it, where I was kind of experimenting with it and not doing it right. So I had to go on their website and figure out that you actually have to flip the stencil over when you create this background. So they actually have quite a few builder stencils on their website. You can build a weave, like a basket weave background. It's squares, I believe, and a bunch of other ones too. And I've never seen this before. This is kind of a fun idea. Just a little tip when you go to purchase, I'll give you a couple of tips on purchasing kind of specific holiday stamps like Valentine's Day. I checked the sales around Christmas time, and they were having some really good sales on the different paper crafting websites. And so I don't need really any Valentine's Day stamps, but I wanted to get maybe one or two new things, or just kind of see what they had out there. So I went over and kind of checked some things out and saw what was new. And I found this stencil, and then I got one other just little heart stamp. And that's all I got for this year. And so that's just one tip when you go to purchase seasonal stamps. Kind of look for them ahead of time and check out sales. And then you can pick up what you need then. And then you've got what you need around the holiday, but you're not ending up spending too much on kind of more specific stamps. I like to ask myself too, do I already have something like this? So you can get kind of caught up in all the Valentine's Day fun and all the cute heart stamps. There's so many cute things out there, but you want to really take a look at, do I already have something like this? How many more heart dies do I need? And that kind of thing. So just something else to keep in mind. But let me show you my basket here of kind of what I'm working with. So what I usually do when I'm getting to a season, whether it's Christmas, Valentine's Day, graduation, that kind of thing, I'll pull together all of the stamps and some of the dies that I have to get some ideas. And then I will kind of see what I have, everything out in front of me. And then I can kind of pick them out, pick the stamps and dies and whatever out, and start making cards with what I have right here. So this is just a basket. I pulled a bunch of my Valentine's Day stamps and dies. And I have some basic, background stencils. These are always nice to have. This is from Newton's Nook. Just a nice kind of background stamp that you can ink blend, you can use pastes with. Hearts are good all year round too, so that's kind of the nice thing about having heart stencils and heart stamps. You can use them for other projects too, weddings, anniversaries, all kinds, anything, friendship cards. So this is kind of a nice basic. I have some dies. This is one from my favorite things. This is, if you can find a really good nested heart die set, that's really good. This is from Tonic. I've used this a ton of times, and I like these hearts because they kind of have I have certain hearts that I like, and I like my heart shapes to be kind of, I don't know how you would describe it, more kind of larger on top rather than the narrow heart. So I kind of like how this comes out more, and then it comes down to this little tip. I think that looks really cute. And this is nice because it's all different sizes. So I think I'm going to use this with my Heart Builder stencil for my project. Lawn Fawn has really cute things too. This is some candy hearts, which this is kind of a nice idea too. You can use, the different colors of the cardstock to match the candy heart candies and make some cute projects with this. But any type of stamp set that just has a good basic set of hearts on it is always good. So I use these hearts a lot. This is actually from a Hero Arts stamp that's kind of a encouragement or a sympathy stamp, but it's got these nice different sized hearts on it, and I pick these up all the time and use them on all of my projects. Let me see what else for hearts. This is a stamp that has a heart background. This is kind of nice too. A lot of regular stamp sets will have hearts on them. This is kind of a Valentine's Day one from Lawn Fawn, but these are nice hearts too. So, I mean, you don't necessarily have to get a ton of Valentine's Day specific stamps. You can get a few, and then that should cover you. But I also like to check my wedding stamps. This is kind of a wedding anniversary stamp set this is from Paper Tray Ink. And it just has some nice sentiments on it. You are my happily ever after. A true love story never ends. You could use that for Valentine's Day. But then it also doubles as a wedding and anniversary stamp set too. So you kind of get more for your money that way. Let's see, what else? Oh, I also like food puns. So any type of little food pun stamps, Lawn Fawn has a ton of them. They're great for Valentine's Day. You know, if you don't want something, again, specifically for Valentine's Day, these work all year round too. So this is like a little ice cream stamp set that has all kinds of puns. You're the sprinkles on my cupcake. You're the sweetest. So that's really cute too. This little toast one. Toast to us, my butter half. So these are really cute. I have a ton of these. I'm whenever I see a food pun stamp, I always want to get it. This is a coffee themed one. So again, these would be great. Add a heart behind it, and you've got a Valentine's Day card. So these are some more specific Valentine's Day. But this is, you know, and I'll get a couple of sentiments that say Valentine's Day on them, but I don't have a ton. But that's pretty much it. So see if I have any more tips about getting, just pretty much you just want to get something with hearts on it. So let me go ahead and start the card, and I'll show you how the stencil works, and we'll go pick out some inks first. I think what I want to do, I did this one with pink and red. I'm going to be using Distress Oxide ink for my ink blended background. So this was Festive Berries and I'm not sure what, Spun Sugar, I think. So I think I'm trying to decide between a purple and a mint green background. I think I'm going to do purple just for the fun of it. But you could do, you could do any type of color combo. You just want to pick for this particular type of stencil, you want to do a lighter color and a darker color ink. So I think I'm going to do, actually, you know what? I think I'm going to pick out, I'm going to do the purple. So I'm going to try. We'll go through my inks and see if I change my mind again. So let's go ahead and take a look at my Distress ink. Okay, so real quick, I just want to pick out my Distress Oxide inks. And the reason I'm using the oxide inks is because I like the way these blend a little bit better. They're kind of a mix of a pigment ink and a dye ink, but it has more of the pigment ink makeup. So it's a lot smoother when you do backgrounds with that. So I use these for plain inked backgrounds, and then also for stenciling too. I just think it gives a nice smooth background. If I'm stenciling flowers or something like that, I will use regular Distress ink because I like the dye ink quality, how it kind of sinks into the paper, and you get that vibrant look with the for the flower. So, but you can experiment. That's the great thing about it. But I do recommend having both types, because I think they both have their uses. So, but in this case, like I said, I'm going to do Distress Oxide, and I'm kind of looking. This is I did the Jennifer McGuire ink pad swatch organization book here. I've had this for a while. This is really helpful. But I have my Distress Oxides are in hearts, and then the regular Distress are on with rectangles. Although I need to, some of my oxides I did rectangles, so I probably won't go back and change it. But anyway, this is a good swatch book to have, so you can kind of see the color combinations, especially if you want to use a lighter and a darker color. So if I'm looking at purple, I'm thinking I probably want to use Shaded Lilac and Wilted Violet. They're both kind of darker, but I think I can use a light hand when I'm ink blending, and I can get a lighter look with that. So I think we'll try this. And then maybe another time I'll try some different colors. The blues would be really pretty too, but I think I like this purple. I think if I just use a lighter hand with both of them, I'll get like a nice kind of light purple color. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my oxide inks. I've got Shaded Lilac, and then I'm going to get, try to find my Wilted Violet. I usually have these organized. I need to go through and kind of put them back in rainbow order again. Oh, here we go. I just got the new prized ribbon, or prize ribbon. It's this is it compared to Blueprint Sketch. It's a little bit more navy. Blueprint Sketch kind of has a more purple color. So I like this prize ribbon for sky backgrounds. I think this will be really pretty. But anyway, we're looking for Wilted Violet here, so I'll grab that. And then I'll grab some matching sponge daubers. So let me see. I usually have one that kind of corresponds with my ink colors. I've got that one. And then I don't have I'll just grab this one. I think that'll be okay. And then I'll bring you back over to my desk and I'll show you how the stencil's set up. So I like to use this Make Art Station from Wendy Vecchi. It's a great tool for using stencils to secure them down on your work surface. And it's nice because it has this metal, it's made of metal in the back, so you can wipe it clean if any ink gets on it. So I'm just going to take a piece of cardstock here, just 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. I'm going to end up cutting this down once I do my stencil, but I'm just going to do the whole thing with the ink blending, and then I'll kind of trim it down as I need to. I'm going to make kind of a more of a modern, clean and layered card. I think the stencil is so modern looking and kind of graphic with all the straight lines that I think this would be, that would look good. So I'm going to go ahead and line up my stencil. And I like that this has grid lines too, so you can kind of line everything. You want to get the stencil really straight, so these grid lines are helpful. So I'm just going to line this up best I can. And then I'll put my magnets. And I think I'm going to start with the lighter ink color, and then I'll do the darker one second. So I think I'm going to just do kind of a lighter hand as best I can. So I'll just get some ink on my dauber and kind of tap it off. And then I'll kind of start from the edge and lightly go in. Just to get just a little light lavender background. I love using stencils. They're just, it's a great way to make a quick card, quick backgrounds, and you can do a lot with them. Other stencils, I don't know for this one, but because it's a 2-step stencil, but for other stencils that are just 1 step, I like to use Versamark ink and do heat embossing with embossing powder. So you can use the Versamark ink instead of, a colored ink. You can either use a dauber, or I like to just stamp the pad, I kind of smush the pad right on top of the stencil, and then I put embossing powder, whatever color I want, and it looks really good. You get that raised look. I also like using pastes. Embossing pastes work really nicely with stencils too, so there's a lot you can do with them. But this one is fun because I like how you can use different colors of ink. So that's the Shaded Lilac, and now I'm going to try the Wilted Violet, and I'm going to go a little bit heavier with this one. So what you want to do is, you first do the stencil one way, the front side, and then you want to flip it over. So it doesn't really look like anything that way. So you flip it over, and then you want to line up kind of pick a heart to line up. I'll just kind of eyeball it here. Once you lay it down, you can kind of see what you're doing. So you want to kind of get it straight on there like so. All right, I think that looks good. And then I'm going to put the magnets back on here. All right, now I'm ready for my second color. So I'm going to use Wilted Violet. And then we'll see. Kind of go, I don't know, I'm going to go a little bit lighter because it's kind of a different shade, but let's see what this looks like. I'm not a huge fan of candy hearts, like eating them, but I love the way they look. I love the colors, and they're just so festive. They totally scream Valentine's Day. So I love when I can find a stamp set with the candy hearts or like the dies, those dies from Lawn Fawn. They're really cute. They're fun to put on cards. Once I see what this looks like, I may go over it again, either with the lighter color or the darker color. I've got to figure out which looks better. I sometimes have a hard time pairing the distress inks. You know, there's so many colors, so there's a lot to choose from, but I don't always have a good eye to try to find the lighter one that goes with the darker one, you know, for the shading. So we'll see what this looks like, but they are pretty colors. I love that the new Pantone color it's like a periwinkle. I never used to like purple, but all of a sudden this past few years I've really gotten into the color purple just with craft supplies and things like that. Okay, so let's take a look at this. I may need to go over it again, but we'll see. I'm going to kind of leave my finger on here and take a quick look. Ooh, I love that. I don't know if no, I'm just going to leave it. I'm going to leave it alone because I'm like thinking maybe I should go over it again in a darker color or with a darker, with that Wilted Violet a little bit darker, but I'm just going to leave it because I don't want to mess it up. Sometimes you just have to leave things as they are. And I think this looks really good. So I'm going to go ahead and let that go and then move on to the next part of the card. So I'm just going to get rid of the stencil tool. And then I think I'm going to cut this down for my background. So I have just this, just a white note card, and I'm going to try to figure out what size I want to do, because I'm also going to use these tonic hearts as a background. I already have some cut out, so I'm going to see if I have any that are the size I want to use. I'm going to do this with the tonic hearts, and then I'm not sure. I think I'm going to use, these might be too big, but I'm going to see. I like that this is from Avriel. This is And Then it's called. It's kind of Valentine's Day, but it's also kind of it could be like anniversary or that kind of thing. So I may use those, but they might be too big, so I got to double check with that. So let me test out. Okay. I think I'm going to use, these are too big. I'm going to use this size here. And then what I like, I'll just take, I like to fit everything together and kind of see how it fits. And then I think I'm going to do, you make my heart happy. But this might be too big and you won't be able to see. Actually, though, I could go down this way. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to stamp this onto a piece of white cardstock, trim it out, and then I'm going to have the hearts behind it like that. So now I'm trying to think if I should have open hearts or closed hearts. Now, I think open hearts competes too much with the background, so I'm going to go ahead and use closed hearts, but I just kind of wanted to see what that was going to look like. So I'm definitely going to use that. So I'm going to trim this down to kind of make a little little mat just in the middle. So I'm just going to kind of eyeball it. I think I'll trim, let's see. I'm going to trim about 1/2 inch off on this side. And then what I like to do is kind of go back and kind of see if this is, do 1/2 inch off the bottom. I don't want to cut too much because I want you to still be able to see the background. But I also like the look of having a lot of white space around the frame. So yeah, I'm going to cut some more. So I'm going to do another 1/2 inch here. Oops, that wasn't a 1/2 inch. Do one more here. Okay, and then a 1/2 inch off the top. And then we'll kind of see what that looks like. Yeah, that's good. I like that. I like to have a lot of the white space, and then you have this bold print in the middle. I think that looks good. So, all right, we're done with that part. So now I'm going to go ahead and cut out my dies and get all of my sentiments ready. So I decided I wanted to use white hearts as the background because I didn't want a lot of competition with the purple. So to make it a little bit more interesting, because I felt like it kind of would look like the hearts were a little flat, I decided to use, I'm going to use this embossing folder, this dry embossing folder, and just put these in here and run it through my die cut machine to emboss the hearts, and it'll give a nice heart pattern onto the white heart and just give kind of some texture to add to the card. So I will go ahead and do that. So this turned out really cute. So I don't know if you can see the embossed part here. This is a 3D embossing folder, so it almost embosses so deep that it gives a 3D look to the pattern. So I like these kind of folders. But I did it on both of these hearts. So we'll go ahead and add those. And then I'm going to stamp my sentiment. So I'll set this off to the side. And I'm just going to do it on a piece of white cardstock. I'm going to do just trim out a little rectangle for this. So I'll just add this to the corner. And I'm using some black dye ink. This is my favorite ink to use just for regular stamping of sentiments. It's a pretty sticky stamp. And then I'm just going to trim this out really close to the edges here, because I want to make sure everything is very close together on the card. There's not a lot of extra space. And I always save every little piece of white cardstock, so you can always use these to stamp more things and die cut and that kind of thing. So I keep my big bin underneath here with all my extra white cardstock. Okay, so this card is ready to assemble. Okay, so there you go. Just a real clean and simple layered card, and you get the texture with the embossing folder here and that beautiful background with the stencil. So there's a lot you can do with stencils for backgrounds, but I thought this is just a nice, great for Valentine's Day. So thank you for joining me today, and I will see you in my next video.